Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, and I'm here to review the March 1999 issue of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, 1998 year in wrestling. So let's get to reviewing. Once again, an ad for the ECW Hardcore Hotline, the table of contents, from the desk of Stu Sachs, talking about WWF's comeback, how WCW had been dominating for 83 weeks, as we know, and WWF got their first win WWF Raw got their first win against Nitro on the April 13th episode of Raw when they went head to head with Nitro. It's just saying, like, don't count out WWF. Between the Falls, fans writing to the magazine. Ringside with Bill Apter talks about Jesse the Body Ventura becoming governor of Minnesota. Also talks about Shane McMahon screwing Steve Austin at the Survivor Series when he was the referee and stopped when he was about to make a 3 count, but stopped the 3 count. In Focus with their top 10 list. Back issues of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Off the Top Ropes with Randy Makowitz. Crew Cuts talks about by Frankie Kruder, and he just talks about how bad the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan match was at Halloween Havoc, and talks about Chris Benoit, and he saw a match between Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko versus Alex Wright and Disco Inferno, and how Chris Benoit blew the snot rockets on Disco when he was on the ground, where he just bends over and blows his nose on him. That was funny. Talked about how Billy Gunn is now the most accomplished tag team wrestler in history, with the now winning titles with the combined title wins with the New Age Outlaws and the Smoking Guns makes him the most accomplished tag team wrestler in history up until that time. Top 10 ratings. Okay, number one, WCW World Champion Goldberg. Number 2, Steve Austin. Number 3, Mankind. Number 4, the WCW US Champion Diamond Dallas Page. Number 5, the WWF World Champion Rocky Maivia. Number 6, Bret Hart. Number 7, the Intercontinental Champion Ken Shamrock. Number 8, the WCW TV Champion Chris Jericho. Number 9, the ECW TV Champion Rob Van Dam. And number 10, The Undertaker. Top 10 tag teams. Number 1, the WWF Tag Team Champions, the New Age Outlaws. Number 2, the ECW Tag Team Champions, the Dudleys. Number 3, the Headbangers. Number 4, the All Japan International Tag Team Champions, Kawada and Akira Tayu. Number 5, D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry. Number 6, the IWGP Tag Team Champions. I know Tenryu and this other guy, I'm just going to mess up his name. Koshinka and Tenryu. Number 7, Tanaka and Balls Mahoney. Number 8, Sabu and Rob Van Dam. Number 9, the NWA North American Tag Team Champions, Stephen Dunn and Reno Riggins. And number 10, the NWA Tag Team Champions, Knuckles Nelson and Eric Serbrica, something like that. I totally screwed up that name. The year in review. Talks about 1998 finally saw 1998 finally saw WWF, the 1998 saw the WWF finally get a leg up on the Monday Night Ratings war thanks to the feud between Vince McMahon and Steve Austin. One night, Austin clobbered McMahon with a chair. McMahon had to be removed on a stretcher, but WCW regained its footing with the Monday Night Battle became a war. The replay of Diamond Dallas Page vs. Goldberg at Halloween Havoc gave Nitro its highest rating ever for the quarter-hour period. 1998 also saw once again the emergence of Goldberg as a big, huge star. 1998 also saw ECW under the leadership of Paul Heyman cement its place above at a level below WWF and WCW, yet above all other series of successful and incredible violent with a series of successful and incredible violent pay-per-views. In 1998 also saw Hacksaw Jim Duggan win his bout with cancer. A 21-year veteran of the sport, Duggan tearfully told fans at the September 8th episode of Thunder that he had been diagnosed with kidney cancer. He asked for the fans' prayers. They prayed. Somebody have listened. A few weeks later, Duggan was declared cancer-free by his doctors. But in every year, wrestling lost its share of heroes. Junkyard Dog, for instance, died at the age of 45. Okay, some pictures of the year. That's pictures of stuff going on through the year. Picture of China holding the WWF Championship, saying, could she just get one shot at the title? Picture of The Rock with The Nation, when he was still part of The Nation. The Undertaker's feud and teaming up with Kane. They got to see, I remember I seen a little bit of this storyline about it says you can't keep a good man down or dead, and it talks about the thing is ECW founder Todd Gordon wasn't exactly paying tribute to the late great Eddie Gilbert when he led a group of former ECW stars, including Rocco Rock and Stevie Richards, in an attack on NWA promoter Dennis Carluzza and Doug Gilbert. Doug, Eddie's brother, became enraged when Gordon started wearing Eddie Gilbert's hot stuff jacket and became even more enraged when Missy Hyde, Eddie's former wife, joined Gordon's group. Like, I heard a little bit of this, but I would have loved to have seen the storyline because I think this was the only thing I heard about it, actually. So I don't know what exactly happened, I thought the Dennis Carluzza and Todd Gordon were enemies with the whole NWA, with ECW throwing down the NWA title. So I don't know where exactly this happened. I would love to see some story or something about this Eddie Gilbert. I mean, doing a storyline about Eddie Gilbert after he died. I would love to see, hear more about that. And all the stuff that went down between Vince McMahon and Steve Austin. Quotables for 98. Highlights of Jay Leno and Hulk Hogan taking over the Tonight Show. Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan taking over the Tonight Show. Then, of course, Jay Leno wrestling Hulk Hogan in that tag team match. Then, of course, Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman wrestling in a tag team match for WCW. Yeah, it's amazing how big a year wrestling in general was so mainstream at this point. Kind of forget how wrestling was everywhere. Numbers for 98. Talks about Ric Flair's feud with Eric Bischoff suing Flair and Flair countersuing. And then, of course, that night Ric Flair came back in a Horseman reunion. Injury report for 98. Talks about how for the Brian Pillman Memorial Show, now Al Snow, Steve Austin, and Chris Benoit wrestled all at the show. In memoriam, Bobo Brazil, June Byers, Dan Coates, Chris Dundee, Terry Garvin, Junkyard Dog, Buddy Lee, Al Napier, Walter Palmer, Shane Shamrock, Sky Lolo, and Louis Spicolli. 1999 should be their year. Christian Cage, Justin Credible, Sean Stasiak, Masaya Tanaka, and Flash Flanagan. I don't know if 19. I guess it would have been more Christian than anybody. I guess Justin Credible had a good year in ECW, so. And Masaya Tanaka had his run at ECW, so. For Wrestling Illustrated, Rookie of 1998, Rookie of the Year, Bill Goldberg. First runner-up, Sable. Second runner-up, Droz. Third runner-up, Mark Henry. There was really no surprise to this. There was no doubt in anybody's mind that Goldberg should have won this. So, might have had the best year ever, best rookie year ever. Inspirational Wrestler of the Year, Goldberg. First runner-up, Steve Austin. Second runner-up, Mankind. Third runner-up, Shane Douglas. Most Improved Wrestler of the Year, Booker T. First runner-up, D'Lo Brown. Second runner-up, the New Age Outlaws. Third runner-up, Juventud Guerrera. Comeback of the Year, X-Pac. First runner-up, Sting. Second runner-up, Dean Malenko. Third runner-up, The Warrior. Manager of the Year, Paul Bearer. First runner-up, Bill Alfonso. Second runner-up, Tammy Lynn Sitch. Third runner-up, Paul Ellering. Feud of the Year, Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon. First runner-up, NWO Wolfpack versus NWO Hollywood. Second runner-up, Ric Flair versus Eric Bischoff. Third runner-up, Rocky Maivia versus Ken Shamrock. Most Popular Wrestler of the Year, Steve Austin. First runner-up, Goldberg. Second runner-up, Rocky Maivia. Third runner-up, Dallas Page. Most Hated Wrestler of the Year, Hulk Hogan. First runner-up, Vince McMahon. Second runner-up, Eric Bischoff. Third runner-up, Bret Hart. Match of the Year, Undertaker vs. Mankind from Hell in a Cell. First runner-up, Shawn Michaels vs. Steve Austin from WrestleMania. Second runner-up, Goldberg vs. Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, when Goldberg won the title. Third runner-up, Taz vs. Bam Bam Bigelow. Tag Team of the Year, the New Age Outlaws. First runner-up, Sabu and Rob Van Dam. Second runner-up, Kane and Mankind. Third runner-up, Kane and The Undertaker. And Wrestler of the Year, Steve Austin. First runner-up, Goldberg. Second runner-up, Dallas Page. Third runner-up, Rocky Maivia. Editor's Award goes to Bobo Brazil, who, was the first big African-American that made a big name in the business. And he wrestled for a long time, too. He wrestled, I know it was into his 60s, I think. Your unofficial official award for your unofficial official awards. A great wrestler all those years ago, Scott Hall. Count his victories, Nevermore, Raven. Getting beat up more than the Spanish broadcast team at a WWF show, Vince McMahon. 1999 predictions. The Steel Cage by Dave Rosenbaum. He just talks about how great 1998 was, how wrestling, was on everywhere. They were in TV shows and being talked about on newscasts everywhere and stuff. They just had a great year. Win, Lose, or Draw by Harry Burkett. Where he talks about how even though wrestling was successful, it was too much violence, too much backstage stuff going on, not enough actual wrestling for him. There's too much behind the scenes, too much camera behind the scenes and interviews and everything, and not enough in ring time, not enough guys actually wrestling in the ring. The Japan report, the Mexico report, arena reports, continuation of ringside, the past award winners, title changes of 98, the year in review through the comics, through the Steve Anderson's political drawings, or wrestling drawings. I won't say political, but the editor's picks for the most memorable moments of 1998. Stu Sachs talks about Buff Bagwell getting injured in the match on Thunder. Yeah, I remember seeing that, and it was just like, man, you thought this guy was going to be paralyzed for life, and for it to happen on live TV was crazy. So, yeah, I definitely remember that. Dave Linker, his most memorable moment is the return of the Ultimate Warrior and how bad it went, and how, the Warrior just wasn't any good anymore, and the match of Hogan stunk, and the crowd just didn't care about the Warrior anymore. So, Bill Apter, his memorable moment is Goldberg winning the World Championship, beating Hulk Hogan after only one whole year in the business. That was definitely his biggest moment. Brandy Makowitz's moment was when Ultimo Dragon underwent elbow surgery, and she hoped that he makes a healthy recovery, because she's a big fan of his, and she said how people don't realize the impact he's made on the business. So she hopes he returns. Frank Kruger talks about how WWF's adult-oriented programming made the most enduring impression on him. How, the stuff Austin did, and Sable exposed more, and Goldust and Val Venus and all that crazy stuff, and just it worked. The adult entertained program wound up working, and they started coming back and beating Nitro. And Frank Vitucci, his moment was the year, he said it was the year of The Rock. How Rock lost the Intercontinental Championship to Triple H, but didn't worry about it. He came back and won the World Championship. And just how it was just the beginning of the growth of The Rock. No more Rocky Maivia. Time for The Rock. Okay, this has been a review of the March 1999 issue of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Thanks for watching.